We're in geometry lesson 4-5. Today is a hard lesson, so let's try to keep on it. Today is probably the hardest lesson of the entire unit. Today's date is January 14th, 1/14. All right, so we have 4 types of examples, but there are 5 types of problems that you will encounter on the homework. These are what I consider to be some of the hardest. All right, so everything that we're doing uses similar triangles, thus the title. So example 1, we have this diagram, and it shows this rectangle ABCD, and I need to find its area. The hard thing is I can only find the area of this triangle so far because I know that it's base times height divided by 2, or 1/2 base times height, which means I need to find this triangle too, and once I find that triangle, I have these 2 areas. I can multiply that by 2 to get this other giant triangle. So the main thing I need to do is to find the area of this small triangle. Can we all nod our heads to follow that logic? We're just looking for that area, and then we can basically find the area of the entire rectangle. So let's go ahead and redraw these 2 triangles. This triangle right here and this triangle right here. We're going to redraw those 2 triangles. Is there a question?
My pen ran out of ink.
Your pen.
He stole it.
I do like it when people are able to write for their notes. So we're going to redraw these 2 triangles. Let's redraw it down here. So I'm going to draw a triangle DEC. Let me scroll down. So this is triangle DEC. So DEC. And I'm going to redraw AED, but instead of redrawing AED, this tiny triangle as is, I'm going to flip it down so that it looks similar to EDC, so that E is in the corner. E is in the corner. I have A on the top, and I have D as that far out distance. That way these 2 triangles, it's really easy to see what the corresponding sides are. And this is the trick. For every single one of these problems, there's always a trick. The main trick for each of these is to just redraw each of the triangles you're trying to find. It makes it so much clearer what you're trying to find. All right, so for participation, 4 points now. How can I label lengths on some of these triangles? I know 3 and 10, where do they go? Quiet raised hand. Where do 3 and 10 go on these 2 triangles? I should see way more hands. I only see 2. 3, 4, 5. There's more hands. Martine, go for it.
So on the first one?
First one, EDC.
DE is 3.
DE is 3. Keep going.
EC is 10.
EC is 10. And lastly,
DE on that one is also 3.
there it is. All right, Martine, please turn in your card. Thank you very much. Let's go to here, and Martine. XP. I will give everyone that has a card in here, I'm going to put you in a separate pile to give you XP. But it's going to take me a little bit too long. Okay, so from there, I need to set up a proportion. Again, this thing that I'm trying to find, and this is actually for XP, what am I trying to find? In order to find the area of this triangle, what should I label X? What length? Should I be labeling AD or AE? What length am I really trying to find so that I can find the area of that triangle? Beverly. AE. So this length here, AE, that's X. That's the thing we're trying to find. If we find that, then we can find the area. So thank you, Beverly. You can turn in your card. All right, so let's set up our proportion now. We can clearly see what the proportion is by looking at these 2 triangles. I need someone to quietly raise their hand and tell me what proportion I should draw. What should I write down here for my proportion with these 2 triangles? This over this equals this over this. Only 2 people know? 2.5? Oscar's the third. Oscar, yeah, go for it.
3 over x equals 10 over 3.
3 over x is equal to 10 over 3. That works. You could have also done 3 over 10 is equal to x over 3. There are a bunch of ways to set up these proportions. This is one of them. Yeah, Oscar, turn in your card. Thank you very much. All right. So from there, what's my next step to solve this problem? Anna. Cross multiply to get what? 9 is equal to 10x. Anna, you can turn in your card. And my last step here to solve for x is to do what to both sides? Ellery?
You divide both sides by 9 so that x equals 1.1.
Divide both sides by 9. Careful.
Wait.
Double check. Yeah, there you go. Divide both sides by 10. There you go. Ellery got her XP.
Equals. Wait, yeah.
So x is equal to 9/10, which is the same thing as a decimal. Anyone know what 9 divided by 10 is as a decimal? India? 0.9, yeah. 0.9. Thank you, India.
Are all the problems going to be like this?
No.
Because this is kind of weird.
This seems easy.
Yeah, I don't like.
Thank you. X is equal to 0.9. Are we done?
No, you didn't box your answer.
Exactly. We didn't box our answer. What was our answer?
0.9.
What were we trying to find?
The area of the entire rectangle.
Yeah, we're trying to find the area of this entire rectangle. So now that we know that this x distance is 0.9, now we need to find the area of this triangle, the area of this triangle, and then multiply it by 2 because that will be the area of this triangle as well if I add those two together. So I need people with calculators out, phones out if you have your phone. If you have your phone up here, you're number 13, you can grab your phone for your calculator. I need to find each of these triangles' areas. This is going to be 3 times 10 divided by 2. This one is going to be 0.9 times 3 divided by 2. I can do both of those in my head, but you guys can use your calculators because you can use calculators on the homework. I feel so honored. Thank you. Round of applause for Mr. Sindel. No. Okay, so anyone want to tell me either of these two triangles? If you have a card, this is a good way of getting your card in, your participation card for today. Participation card.
Looking like cat.
Anyone want to tell me the area of these two triangles? I'm going to cold call on someone. I'm looking at Aurelio, probably going to cold call on him. Do you have your calculator on you, Aurelio? Do 3 times 10 divided by 2.
This one doesn't come with the cup. I don't have it installed.
At the situation. I'm laughing at the situation. Anyone with a card?
I just said what do you want to
Do
do?
3 times 10 divided by 2.
15.
Quiet raised hand, quiet raised hand. Is there a quiet raised hand out there with a card?
Yeah, the 3 looks like an 8 cut in half, okay?
A 0? What?
Huh?
I'm just joking. All right.
What? Wrong way, Mr. Sindel.
What?
This way.
Okay.
Right here.
There's no one that can do these problems for me that still has a
You
card?
said you could do it in your head. We're waiting for you to do it. We don't have you.
All right, 3 times 10 is 30. 30 divided by 2 is 15. 0.9 times 3 is 2.7. 2.7 divided by 2 is 1.35.
Yeah, I don't really like
I'm sorry that you don't like that.
this. No, not that. I just don't really know how to. Like, whatever. Let's just keep going.
Are there questions about how I found the areas of those two triangles? No. Okay, I'm going to add those together. 15 plus 1.5 is quiet raised hand. Anyone that want to get their XP, get their card in? Colby? 16.35. So this whole triangle is 16.35, and if I double that, that will be both of these triangles, which is what, Colby? Double 16? 32.7. Box it. There it is. 32.7, and I guess unit squared if we were trying to have our units in there. 32.7. There is our area. Thank you, Colby. All right. Is there anyone that has a question on number 1 before we go on to number 2?
How many problems are we going to do like that?
There are a total of, so I think Khan Academy has a pool of 5 of these types of questions. It's like 4 or 5, and it will randomly pull one of those for the homework. And for
one of each of everything on you?
basically, yeah.
Great, thanks.
All right, example 2. We're on to this next one. A, B, and D, E, these line segments are parallel to one another. Find the length of AC. I'm trying to find this length AC right here. What is this length right here? All right, so this one is a little bit hard to see. but I'm going to redraw each of these triangles. In fact, I still have this large triangle, so I'm going to redraw this small triangle next to it. Redrawing this triangle is the hardest step of this entire problem, in my opinion. There's 2 hard steps. This is the hardest of those 2. See if you can redraw this small triangle next to the big triangle, just like right there. See if you can do it on your own. Try it now. So try to move it so that it matches with this triangle as if it just grew and went straight up here. So make sure that AB looks like right here. This would be length AB or BA, depending on how you're drawing it. Setting you up for success.
Because you said this is hard, man. I'm not gonna be able to do it.
I want to see if you guys can do it.
Like
It is
that?
difficult.
Like this or how? Why is that funny, Colby?
So when you're drawing it, make sure that this line segment is parallel to this line
Oh, you
segment.
didn't tell me that. Well, maybe if the golf pencil had this.
All right. So here's why it's hard. When I rotate AB, if I rotate around point C and kind of swing this down, that means AC is on this segment right here. This length is AC.
Those are parallel to
AC. Which means that if this is A, then this point must be B. So this is how your triangle should look after you rotate it down. That was probably one of the hardest steps because I had to rotate this by 180 degrees.
You have to rotate it?
Yeah, you can't reflect. I mean, you could reflect it if you wanted, but in order to make it look like this triangle DEC, you wanted to rotate it. All right. Then we know that length AB is 8. Let's go ahead and label that as well. AB is 8. And we need to somehow set up a proportion. Oh gosh. The proportion is a little bit difficult because we have 2 unknowns. We have this unknown and this unknown. But that's fine because we know what they add up to. They add up to 30. It says it right there. They add up to 30. All right, so here we go. I'm going to set up the proportion for you, and I'm going to have you guys solve it in your groups to get the correct answer. So here we go. I know that this length AB and this length DE should be on the top. So I'm going to say 8 is on the top, and I'm going to say 15 is on the top. That means that if I'm trying to solve for AC, it tells me I'm trying to solve for AC, I'm going to label that segment X. That's what I'm trying to solve for. So that means the small triangle is X. That means this triangle, AC, that's X right here. That means 8 over X is going to be equal to 15 over this unknown segment right here. But we know how long that is. This whole length is 30. If I subtract X, then I have this length right here. I'm going to say that again because that's hard. If I know this full distance, AE, this full distance right here, the full distance is 30, but I subtract X, that means this distance right here is 30 minus X.
Right.
That means that this proportion is 30 minus X. That's all I'm going to say for this problem. I'm going to come around and help you individually if you want help. You should be working in your groups. Try to solve for X. Yeah, so everyone's going to get 100 XP. You guys were very positive and hardworking during that interval, so thank you very much for doing that.
Positive.
All right, so quiet raise hand. If you have your card, what do I do? What's my first step once I set up my proportion? Yeah, Loria.
Just there.
Equals 8 times the quantity of 30 minus X, because you cross-multiplied that direction, cross-multiplied that direction. Yep, very good. Thank you, Loria. Turn in your card.
Why isn't my health going up?
So someone needs to heal you. So the important thing to remember here is whenever I cross-multiply and I have 2 terms,
My AP didn't go up either.
whenever I have 2 terms, we can talk about it later, Jaden. Whenever I have 2 terms, you need to keep these parentheses to let you know to distribute this 8 into both of these terms. That was the most common error that I saw walking around. So from there, can someone do the next step for me? Can someone multiply the 8 and 30 and negative X? Quiet raise hand if you have your card. Yeah, Aurelio.
So you get 240 and then you get minus 8x.
Minus 8x. Thank you. Turn in your card. And nothing has happened to this 15x on the left-hand side. Oops. 15x. Thank you, Aurelio.
Not 160, by the way. Don't let that fool you.
All right. From there, my next step is to do what? Quite raised hand. Samantha, I think you already have your card in though, right? I'm looking for someone that still has their card. Emily, you want to do it? All right, go for it. Add 8x to both sides, so that adds to the 15. What do you get? 15x plus 8x is what? 23x. Thank you very much. Ooh, 23x. Turn in your card. Thank you, Emily. Boom. What's loading? Okay, whatever. I'll do it later. And I'm left with 240. From there, I divide by 23 on both sides, and I get, I can show that work, divide by 23, divide by 23. And if I round correctly, I should get what answer? Atziri? 10.4, like that? Yeah, do you guys agree? 10.4? And box it. 10.4 is what we're looking for. Thank you, Atziri. You can turn in your card. All right, we're on to the back. Example 3. Find the length of AC. What would you guys prefer? Would you prefer me to help you get this set up, or do you want to try setting it up on your own?
No, let's try it. I'm not going to be able to do it. Can you set it up for me? And then
Hold up a 1 if you want to try it on your own. Hold up a 2 if you want me to help you set it up.
Colby will help me.
The majorities have it. It's 2, so we're going to help you set it up. There are 3 triangles here. All of them are similar. The reason why they're similar is kind of a cool theory, but this angle and this angle are the same because it's the same angle, which means this small triangle here and this large triangle here are the same because they both have a 90 degrees and they both have the same angle. Basically, that happens to all 3 of these triangles. I have a small triangle, a medium triangle, and a large triangle. All 3 of them are similar. So from there, I need to find the length of AC. I'm trying to find this full length, which means I'm going to label what as X. What is the thing I'm trying to look for? Quiet raise hand if you have your card. I need to get all those cards in.
Mr. Sindel?
Yes.
I've been filling it out. Here I've been doing it.
Go back and fill it in then. Look at someone else's notes. All right. Who still has their card, by the way?
I do.
Jaden still has his card? No? Leo has his card and Cheyenne? Okay, one of you two. What is going to be labeled X if this whole length is the thing I'm trying to find? AC. Close. We already know AD, right? So what's the thing that we're missing from AC? DC, exactly. Thank you, Cheyenne. Cheyenne, you can turn in your card. So this length is X. So I'm going to redraw the triangles that I'm looking for. So let's go ahead and redraw the small triangle and the medium triangle. So here's the small triangle. I'll help us out. The small triangle. Let me try redrawing this a little bit better. The small triangle, this is going to be D, A, and B. The medium triangle is this triangle on the top, which is going to be CDB. So this is the medium triangle that I'm drawing, and it's going to be D is the right angle, and it's going to be B that pops out and C on the top. Both of those are my right angles. All right, Leo, can you help me label these triangles with what each length should be?
So DB.
4.5, good. AD is 1.5. Nice. And what about this medium-sized triangle? There's 2 things that we know about it. Yep, BD, DB is 4.5. And which one is X? CD. There it is. Thank you, Leo. You can turn in your card. All right, it's free game. You guys can participate as much as you'd like now that everyone's in. All right, I need to set up my proportion, but it's pretty straightforward once you see this. Yeah, Ellery, you can set up the proportion for us, please.
4.5 over 1.5 is equal to X over 4.5.
No way.
4.5. There it is. Ellery, you got some XP. We set out the proportion as a class. Now you're going to separate into groups to find, not X, but the length of AC. So once you find X, you're not done. Find the length of AC when you're done. That's repetitive, I know. All right, so go ahead and work in your groups now.